So, welcome everyone to Recharge Your Personal Brand in 5 steps. I'm really pleased that you joined. And I'm going to start by sharing a quick personal story that happened to me a few years ago already. So, I've been living in Dubai for 11 years already. I am a marketeer, I've worked in senior positions, and my last corporate job was in Nokia. After Nokia, I started looking for a new corporate job in Dubai. And while I was looking for a job, I started consulting on marketing, which is what I've been doing during all these years. Of course, at that time, as I was still looking for a job, I was knocking some doors, sending some LinkedIn requests, and then I launched my startup, which is in the field of wellness, and I kept on consulting. So I kept on doing this for a few years, and one day I received a phone call from someone that at that moment really I didn't remember. So I'm really bad with names in case it happens again. But this person says, Stefania, I am X person. I'm like, okay, do you remember me? And I'm not sure if you could really refresh my memory. So he said, you contacted me on LinkedIn a few years ago, and I need your support. So I have a project with a government entity, and I need to deliver a brand strategy. And I said, yeah, sure. I mean, let me know what is the project about. And then he said, well, the thing is that I need it in 3 days time. We need to deliver in 3 days. And I said, well, yes, no problem, but shall we meet so you can brief me? And he said, no, I don't have time to meet in person. So just to summarize the whole story, he gave me the project, he paid me in advance. We never met at that point, and it was for a really important client for him. And he's a person that has really a good reputation in the market. So he was really risking his whole reputation on this. What am I going to take this to is to the fact that without having met in person, he trusted me 100%. He gave me a project, he paid me in advance, and he knew that I was not going to let him down. How did that happen? Simple. We were connected on LinkedIn, and he saw my work during 4 or 5 years. I was consistently sharing content and positioning my brand during all those years. So although we never met in person, he knew about me. He saw how consistent I was. He saw the level of things that I was doing. So this is one of the powers of personal branding. And even in these days, it's going to be more important. We know that through the pandemic, what has happened is that our connections have gone online 100%. And we like it or not, we can take advantage from that. So who am I? I have already shared with you a quick introduction through my story. What I'm doing currently is to support small businesses and entrepreneurs and independent professionals in their business growth. How I do that? Through digital marketing and social media, personal branding, and I still have one foot on wellness entrepreneurship. I'd like to know from the people in the audience, by the way, you can ask whatever is your question during the session, and I will address all of them at the end. So I'd like to know how many of you are business owners. So you just have to share business owner, employee, looking for a job, or independent professional. So I will know more or less who is in the audience as well. So I'd like to ask you, what do you think is this that I'm sharing right now with you? What is this? Job search, platform to search, Google. Well, this is your business card, to be honest. Being online is your business card. So if you ever apply for a job, or someone is trying to hire you, or someone is interested to give you a interview in a magazine, they are going to Google you. They are going to try to learn from you as much as you can before they even meet you, or before they even give you the opportunity to be in an article. So be mindful of which is the online personality that you have, and you can start building it for higher exposure. Okay, what is personal branding? Some people think that personal branding is about your style. Well, that's one part of the personal branding, but there are more to that. And some other people think that is just selling yourself every day, and is not really selling, although it has a component of promotion. It is how you promote yourself, for sure, but it's really to communicate which is your uniqueness, which are your skills, experience, and personality. And I want really to put an emphasis on personality, especially now that we are through these times where we don't meet or we rarely meet in person. We still have to be able to transmit who we are through our presentations, through our videos online, through the content that we share, because we are going to deal more and more with some others online. So the the faster we learn that we need to be able to transmit who we are, our passion, our knowledge, and our skills, the better for us. Personal branding is the practice of marketing people and their careers and their brands. And again, marketing. Why? Because at the end you are trying to sell your brand. That's true. But this is not the only thing that they are going to do. But we cannot remove personal branding from the fact that we want to promote ourselves and we want to be seen. And we will see as well what it means to have this visibility. What is happening with remote work is not something that started on the pandemic. The growth over the last 5 years has been already at 45%. So it's not going to disappear when the pandemic is over. This is going to keep on building. Over the last 10 years, the growth has been a 91%. And over the last 12 years, it's been a 160. And I cannot imagine whenever we'll have the statistics on how it is growing in the last 3 and 6 months. Also, the number of jobs that we have changed over the years. Gone are the times when someone was working after the university in one company and would retire in this company. The reality is that we are going to keep on changing jobs, changing careers even. They say that average we can have 3 different careers, usually for the people new in the market. So we need to understand that building our personal brand is key for the next years. We are not going to continue in the same companies that we were before, probably. This statistic is before the pandemic. Already in 2019, there were more than half a million predicted new people becoming an entrepreneur by the end of 2020. I'm sure that unfortunately, with all the job losses, this is going to be even higher. And the prediction was that this was a prediction from the last year that by the end of this year, the 40% of the people would be self-employed. It doesn't mean that all of us will need to be self-employed, but even if you are in a company, the risk of losing the job is going to be higher, not only as a consequence of the pandemic, but for the next years, overpopulation, etc. What happens in the recruiting processes is that the HR specialists are addressing that the soft skills matter as much as more of the hard skills. So we go back to what I was saying before, personality. You need to be able to share who you are through the social networks. I know that it's hard for some people to do videos, but we will see more and more that we need to be visible through pictures, videos, etc. Some other important trends is that from all the online users, 65% trust the brands that they find online, the information that they find about the brands online. So the reputation that we build is going to be trusted, and it is important. The brand messages shared by the business owners have more than a 500% impact than if they are shared by the brand. Meaning, if I own a company and I share a promotion or something interesting that we are doing with our company, it is going to be more impactful that I do that through my personal brand than if I do it through the brand. So it's not either or, but using both the power of the business that we own and the power of our personal brand. So reasons to build a strong personal brand. Number one, there is more competition in the market. There was before, is now during the pandemic, and is going to continue for the future. Second, online has become democratic, meaning that people that were not online before now are online. And if we are not online and we don't have online skills, we are already late and we need to acquire those skills. Number three, we are not robots. And I come back to what I was saying before. It's not about doing videos or sharing links. It's about really explaining which is our brand personality, what do we stand for, and what makes us unique. The benefits of having a personal brand. Number one, when you have a strong personal brand, you already have a trademark of trusted or verified. I was sharing with you the example before. This professional found me on LinkedIn, or he remembered me on LinkedIn, and he gave me a project that he needed super fast, that he could not let down that client. He paid me in advance. It was a question of how trusted was my brand already on LinkedIn. Second, it is portable. So let me point this so you can see already what I'm talking. Yes, so it is portable. Most of us, we are in Dubai, not probably for the rest of our lives. At some point we will leave, or we even have projects here and there. In my case, I work with different countries. So to have your strong personal brand, it doesn't make you location attached. Whenever you will leave from the UAE, you have your brand that you can take with you. If your brand is already well positioned online, you can open new markets to work with you. And that's one of the powers as well. You don't depend on the work that you are doing, and you don't depend on the location. Number three, your visibility. If we needed to amplify our message when we were working only offline, we had a limitation, right, of venue. You could bring 100 people to a webinar, 150, 200. You cannot imagine how many people asked me before, Stephanie, are you going to live stream your webinar? And now I am even ashamed of myself that I didn't do it before. This this webinar on personal branding happened the last year in In5 as well, in person, and I even didn't even think on live streaming. People were asking, but it was like, I don't know, let's see if I can do it. Now it's become so easy for us, and the fact that it is online, it gives us a higher visibility. So maybe your business model or the services that you provide are not able to be translated online, but your brand is. So it gives you the possibility to reach out to many other people worldwide. So that's another power of the personal brand. Number four, it opens the door for new strategic partnerships. For the same reason, you are trusted, you have more visibility, and whenever someone is reaching out to you, it's not going to be based on your business card or shaking hands. It's going to be based on the online power that you have, the content that you share, and that definitely builds more trust for strategic partnerships to happen. Number five, acceleration. Of course, if you can reach only a limited number of people, like we were sharing before on a webinar or on a networking that happens in person, your acceleration is going to be slower. But if your reach is much bigger, you're going to be able to accelerate your business at a much higher speed than you were doing before. I was limited before with my workshops somehow by the venue. This venue can bring 20 people. If I bring a bigger venue, maybe I'm going to be limited in the money that I have to pay to the venue. Now I'm doing it online. So it opens more doors and it absolutely accelerates the process. I can record, so I can record the webinar. I can do recorded contents that is going to accelerate how many webinars or workshops I can do. And last but not least, money. What do I mean by money? It raises your average ticket. If you are able to position your brand in a powerful way, you are perceived as well as different, unique, and an expert on the topic that you're talking about or on the sector that you're talking about. So the average ticket that you're going to be able to have with your clients is going to be higher. It's not the same not to have any presence than really to be able to share with you. Sometimes we have a lot of expertise, we even have a lot of content, and we haven't shared it yet, or we have testimonials, or we have people willing to share testimonials with the rest of the people. That can help you build a profile that is going to be able to charge more than the average in the market. Let me 1 second come back to the chat to see already if someone is asking any question. Okay. Because also some other people, I'm going to make the meeting that everybody can join, so I won't have this back and forth. Okay, let me go back to where we were. So this is with technology. I am as well on Facebook, so I need to check on my mobile if there are any questions, and I'll continue. Okay, so we were talking about the benefits of having the strong personal brand, and now I'm going to share with you which are the main key elements to build a strong personal brand. Number one, consistency. What do I mean by consistency? I always like to bring the examples of personal branding or social media into the real life. So imagine that you are meeting a friend and one day you are behaving in a way. The following day you meet again and you look like a different total person. Third day you come up like someone that he or she hasn't even met before. So how do you think this person will be feeling about you? They would find it really strange, right? They wouldn't understand what do you stand for, who are you in reality. So consistency is the key as well. Number one, for the personal branding. How does this translate into your personal brand online? So for example, if you're an independent professional, you are going to build your profile on all social media channels with the same type of messaging, colors, obviously the same logo. If you don't have a logo because you are not working as a coach or as an independent professional, still you need to keep a consistency on the message that you are sharing. So you cannot position yourself as an expert on, let's say, imagine that you are a lawyer specialized on female entrepreneurs. So that's the message that you are going to keep on sharing with your audience. It doesn't mean that you always have to share the same message on the same way. You have to be creative, but you will be consistent on what you are sharing with your audience to position well your brand. Number two, authenticity. What does it mean to be authentic? Well, authenticity has different elements as well. The three more important are integrity, transparency, and vulnerability. Why? If we don't allow somehow ourselves to be a bit vulnerable, and I'm not sharing, I'm not talking about crying in front of the camera, but we need to show that we are human. Otherwise, this connection is not going to happen. If we sit standing still, like if we were a robot, we are going to have that in few months or few years. We will have robots that are going to do webinars. But if we are talking about a personal brand, we do really want to connect with our audience. We need to be transparent on the stories that we share. It's not about showing perfection. I think there was a time on social media where everybody wanted to show perfect, and those times, fortunately, have gone. The more we show our personal side, and I do understand that there are different levels of privacy and different levels where the people feel comfortable, the more we will connect with our audience. And I have clients here in the UAE that obviously don't want to share videos, for example, on social media because of their own privacy, but they do it in a way that they still show the human side of our brand. So authenticity comes to the human side, and that links to the uniqueness as well. Expertise, number three. Why it is important? As much as we would like to build a personal brand on our dream job, we are not yet there. So your personal brand needs to oscillate between who you are now and who you are aiming to be at. We cannot position our brand in a point that we are not yet. And at the same time, we are building our personal brand towards something. And it is important in terms of expertise, network, webinars that we attend, people that we mingle, that we are already pointing towards where do we want to go. But you need to show that you are an expert on the topic that you are going to position yourself. This comes through content, videos. We'll be talking a bit more about that. And for example, Neil Patel is a specialist on social media and digital marketing. And of course, he shares that through the content that he's creating. So it is not enough about from me saying that I am a specialist on personal branding. I need to show that and I need to prove that. And that usually comes through content. Another key element is visibility. One example that I have from a friend of mine is he's an executive coach on a leadership position, He's been specialized on mindfulness, and he started doing that 11 years ago. The thing is that people doing mindfulness on leadership right now, there are many. And the discussion was like, yes, but they didn't start doing that 11 years ago. And my question was like, who did you communicate that you were the first only executive coach touching on mindfulness leadership? And the reply was like, there was no communication. So you can have an amazing personal brand, you can be fantastic, you can be unique on your sector, that if you are not visible, you are really losing a big opportunity. So we'll see after that that this is one of the key steps to build your personal brand. But don't forget that is key. It doesn't matter how good you do the other steps, if you're not visible and you're not able to reach your audience, it's like almost if you didn't have a personal brand. An example is the body coach. He is, I don't know if you know Joe Wicks, but he was here at the Dubai Fitness Challenge. He's got 3 million followers. Do you think probably that as a personal trainer, he's really outstanding and much better than some other personal trainers? Probably he's not. I mean, I'm sure personal training requires a lot of skills, but his power is not that much on the skills that he's got as personal trainer, but his power is on his community, his audience, the amount of people that he can reach. Niche. We are not the best at everything and for everyone. We'll have people who like us and people who don't like us. We'll have people who are interested in our services, people who are not interested. And the faster we understand which is our niche, the better for us and for our efforts. If we try to be, for example, in my case, a marketeer who is able to do 100 things at the same time, I won't be able to focus my efforts and nobody will know exactly what is Stefania Brunori about. I want to be known by my niche, which is digital marketing, social media, personal branding, and those are my core areas of expertise. Can I do some other things? Yes, but I cannot keep on communicating 100 messages because my niche is going to be those services and to a particular type of companies, which are small businesses, future entrepreneurs, independent professionals, and people who are in a career transition or in a career growth. Another key element of your personal branding is the story. So whenever you introduce yourself, you need to be able to explain why did you start that business? How did you become into that profession? Similar to what I was doing at the beginning, I explained the power of personal branding with a personal example that the people can relate. So it's not just about sitting and saying, I am a digital marketeer. How many digital marketeers do you know? I work on personal branding. Well, maybe in personal branding there are not so many, but it is the power of what you explain on a story. You have a story to tell as a personal brand, and this is what you will have to keep on communicating in different ways. Even when you create your content, at the end of the day, is a story. You need the beginning, you need the story that you are telling, and a conclusion of the story as well. Another key element of your personal brand is your networking. It links with the part that we were talking before, your visibility. If you try to amplify your message just yourself, you're not going to reach as many people as if you do it through your network. That's when it comes the part of trying to understand what are you aiming at. So if in my case, I am a digital marketeer and a personal branding expert, I need to think, okay, who are these other people who are trying to reach the same audience that I have? Entrepreneurs, SMEs, and then start networking with that type of people. Because if someone imagine that they are providing personal styling for entrepreneurs, these are people definitely that I want to network with because together we can amplify both our message. So don't think only on networking on the level of getting a deal, but also with people that you can have synergies and amplify your message. Cultivate the relationship. So it's not a one thing situation with the networking. You need to keep on building this relationship. Try different networking events. I mean, this is a total different topic, but I'm just giving you a few highlights. Support your contacts. give before you ask anything. Visibility. You can share the next event that someone from your network is doing. You can give visibility through your social media. Be of service of the others, as I was saying, and keep active on social media. Brand promise. What is this? Is that we are going to be married to our brand forever? Well, not to our brand, but you are promising your audience that you are going to deliver something. So, for example, I promise today that I'm going to share with you the 5 steps to build a strong brand. If I leave this webinar and I haven't delivered that, you're going to be upset. You won't believe my brand. Probably, maybe you will give me a second chance, but maybe not even. So, whenever you're promising something with your personal brand, you need to deliver. So, for example, this case, this person is saying, I use the power of words to increase your online revenue. So what do you think is this business about? He's saying, I use the power of words to increase your online revenue. This guy is a SEO strategist and a copywriter. What does it mean? He could have positioned himself as a copywriter. How many copywriters can be out there? I can tell you that there are thousands. I use online platforms for copywriters, and there are thousands of them. Instead of that, how he's positioning his brand is that he's using the power of brands to make you increase the money that you generate. If I come across this tagline, for sure I'm going to be interested. If I see the tagline copywriter, I'm going to think one more copywriter. But of course, this person will have to deliver his brand promise, which is that helps me to increase my online revenue. So if he's selling a workshop or he's selling his services, and at the end of the day, he doesn't help me, or I cannot see that this translates into an increase, he would have failed on his brand promise. So we need to be mindful as well with what we promise. Okay, so I don't know if you have any further question till now. I wanted to share before an example with you. I cannot find it now. Okay, I'll share it at the end if we have still time. So I'd like to ask you, because I didn't see your replies, let me see on the meeting. So I was asking you guys, which is your background, so I can understand a bit more from you, and then it will help me whenever I deliver the 5 steps to understand a bit more. So I'd like to know, please share if you are a business owner or if you are an independent professional, of if you are a job seeker, also if you are an employee. Okay, so I will be able to understand in which point are you in your career, and this will help me. So if you could share on the chat if you're a business owner, an independent professional, a job seeker, or an employee. Okay, so job seeker, business owner, an employee, and a small business owner. Okay. So for the employee and small business owner, I was in a previous webinar this week, and there was a question. They were asking me how can they build both a brand when they have a business and they are an employee, and this is something that we can address at the end. For the job seeker, I guess that you may have already understood the importance with all the statistics that I was sharing before. Okay, I don't know if there is any further reply. Okay, let me share and go ahead with the 5 steps. And this is what we are here for. Okay, so this is the model that I am using with my clients. We'll go back and forth to these 5 steps. Being the number 1, the self-knowledge. Number 2, exploring your competitors, your market niche. Number 3, exploring your style. Number 4, building your personal brand. And then number 5, launching your personal brand. Okay, when I talk about self-knowledge, this is the key part of the personal brand. Sometimes the people get stuck a bit in here but it's crucial. If you need to take 2 weeks, 1 month to do the self-knowledge, well, when I work on one-on-one, I only give 1 week. So I push the people. Of course, if they need 2, 3 weeks is fine. But what I mean is that this is a really self-reflection exercise that you need to do and take time. Okay, what does the self-knowledge part have? You need to check 4 different areas. Number 1, your core values. If it is creativity, innovation, responsibility, sustainability, quality, trust, this is something that you need to reflect on as core values of your brand. Number 2, your skills. What are you good at? Computing, accountancy, creating connections, presentations, speaking, wellness, healthcare. Go back to which are your skills. Number 3, work experience. As we were saying before, your personal brand needs to be built on something that you are strong. So check which is your work experience. It doesn't mean that maybe you want to build your personal brand now, forgetting part of your work experience. Maybe you are on a career change and you don't want to keep on doing the same. Maybe you want to change. So check from your work experience, but at the beginning, make a list, and this is going to help you in the future. And the 4th one is, what are you passionate about? This is going to help you as well, especially in these times. What I see in a lot of entrepreneurs is that they are purpose driving. And let me clarify something about purpose. It doesn't mean that all of us, we need to have a super higher purpose on doing social impact projects or working for an NGO. The passion can be towards what I'm doing right now, which is to have an impact on future entrepreneurs, on small businesses, on professionals that either want to find a new job or change career. So it's finding something that makes you work even when you are tired, and know which is your why. That's the word, your why. When you mix the core values, the skills, your work experience, and your passion, you are going to find this self-statement that is going to help you build all your brand around that. In my case, as I was sharing, I expand small businesses and independent professionals through the different tools that I have as an expertise, such as social media, digital marketing, and personal branding. Number 2, explore. What do I mean by exploring? Knowing which are your superpowers. And again, what do I mean by superpowers? Look, there is already a lot of offer in the market, and we need to find what are we doing in a different way. Meaning that if you have 2 different digital marketeers, if you have 2 different personal trainers, if you have 2 different accountant services, if you have, let's step in, 2 different lawyers, what is going to make you different from the rest? Is it your years of experience? Is the language that you talk? It's your way of dealing with clients? Is the niche that you have found? Is that you are a specialist on, as I was saying, for example, female entrepreneurs? So you have to find really which is your superpower. That's why the previous exercise is so important, to really understand your skills, your experience, your passion, and how you're going to bring this together now in comparison with your competitors. You cannot forget them. If, for example, when I started working on social media, I would position myself as the cheapest, I would be done, because I am not the cheapest. No, I have 15 years experience, and I'm not at the beginning of my career. So I went to a different route, and I offer some other type of value that my clients know, which is quality, is reliability, and is an extra. I'm not going to extend now because I'm not here to talk about myself, but just to give you an example. So the part number 2, which is explore, is in comparison with your competitors. If you're looking for a job, for example, as it was, I'm not sure if it was Mohammed, you will have to understand what are the other candidates providing, right? To see what you have as a unique and really magnify this uniqueness. This is what the people need to see about you. Number 3, style. And when I talk about style, it doesn't mean that you need to change your personal style. No, we don't need all of us to wear pink hair. No, it's about how you bring all these elements that we are talking before into something that visually speaks out about who you are. It talks about your logo. It talks about your business cards. It talks about your professional pictures. One of the things that I am still surprised sometimes is on the pictures on LinkedIn, for example. Doing a professional photo shoot is not so expensive as you may think. And especially now, there are many deals that you can access. So if you are really willing to work on your personal brand, suggestion number 1, please go and have a professional photo shoot, a headshot. This is the first impression. We are living in the times of the online communications. What we are going through these months is not going to come back. Once the pandemic is over, we are not going to come back. Well, we will go back offline, but what I'm trying to say is that many meetings, many introductions, many new connections have been done online, and this is going to continue. So the first impression that we are going to give online is going to be really important. So really, please invest on a professional photo shoot and on quality pictures. And of course, if you are building your personal brand as a consultant, just try to find a way that you can showcase a logo and something that is consistent. Number 4, build. What do I mean by building? Okay, so we are talking about the exercise of communicating your brand. So building is about that. Is about what do I want to communicate and how am I going to do it? Am I going to use blogs, videos? Am I going to do email marketing? So which are the channels that you are going to use? Number 1, you need to ask yourself, who is your audience? So if you are a personal trainer, for example, Instagram is going to be probably your platform because this is where you can find your clients. If you are a lawyer, most probably it's going to be LinkedIn. If you are a business owner, you will have probably LinkedIn to find new strategic partnerships. And you may have, depending on which is your business, maybe you want to be on Instagram as well. So you are going to have these different platforms that you will have to check, and then you have to decide on your content. Number 5, launch. So you need to create a plan. So it's not about, you. Again, you can have a fantastic brand. You can be really unique in the market. You may be better than your competitors and you have a real clear positioning with your brand. And imagine that you even have fantastic content that you are ready. Okay, so if you don't do anything with all these tools that you have, what are you going to do? I have another example close to me, a person who has recently writing a book and hasn't done any marketing about it. So you've taken the effort of compiling all the information that you have, all the knowledge that you have, and you haven't launched it yet. Well, it's launched, it's published, but apart from publishing it, there hasn't been any marketing. You've lost the 80% of the equation. If we keep everything on a box, we haven't launched our personal brand. So you need a plan, set your goals, decide how many videos do you want to do per month, how many articles are going to share, how many podcasts, if you want to start podcasting, and check that and implement the plan and launch. We are not perfect, and thanks God, as I was saying before, we are gone the times of losing this perfection on social media into creating pieces of content. It is better to be visible than non being visible. Believe me, I am a perfectionist, and I wouldn't have been doing the videos that I'm doing now 5 years ago, most probably. So it is about communicating your brand, being out. You are going to make mistakes. I make mistakes. I see some videos after a while, and I wish that I had worked on them a bit more. But to be honest, people were reaching out to me. I was creating connections and I was getting leads. So implement. In one of my previous workshops that is about how to take an idea into reality and and how to kick off a startup or how to start being an entrepreneur, I always share the story of a friend of mine that is really an action man, action, action, action. So I was sharing with him, look, I was thinking that maybe I could do this. I have this startup idea. This was before I launched my startup. But I'm not sure because I need to check this and I need to check that. And he looked at me in a very funny way that only the close friends can tell you. And he said, you know what, Estefania? You keep on thinking, I'll keep on doing. And I was like a bit upset, like, what does he mean? So am I going to keep this idea forever? No way. Then I started action. So your personal brand doesn't exist until you launch. So let me check your questions because I know that you were writing, and I want to check now your questions on the topic. So someone needs to leave. They will continue with the recorded one. Professional training, something came up. I'll catch up on the recording. So let me check on Facebook that I'm connected as well. They are a bit behind because the live recording, it goes later. Hello, Christina. Christina is on Sri Lanka. She is a fantastic yoga teacher. And I'm just talking because it takes like 20 seconds to appear on Facebook. So hello, Christina. Let me know if you have any question about personal branding. Hello, Wakas. Hello, Nadine. And yes, it's questions and answers turn. A question that I had from the beginning. What happens when you are a business owner and you are an employee? So the question number one that I would ask you guys is your business on the same sector as your work? Because then you have an alignment there and there is no any issue. You can keep on positioning yourself as an expert on the field. So that question would be replied. Now, if your job is not connected to your company, my question is, why did you become an entrepreneur? Why did you launch that company? Because for sure, there is one piece of motivation or one piece on the reason why you started that company that is connected to your personality. And that can help you to create content for your personal brand. Now, there can be a conflict between your employee and your company. And this is something that you need to probably be transparent with your employer. Otherwise, you are going to be always halfway there, right? Does your employer know that you have a company? If they know, do they agree that you can use, I mean, of course, you can use your personal branding to promote your business as long as you don't take time from the business, from the company, right? So you will need to create to agree with your employer, right? Now, the complication comes if your employer doesn't know that you have a company. Then this is something that needs you to think about. But coming back to the beginning, the question is, find which is the alignment with your company and the current job that you are doing, if they are in the same sector, and work on your personal brand from there. Okay, so let me check again on Facebook if there is any question. Would you like to address any question? Isabel, Jamil, Mohammed, anyone has a question? Otherwise, I'm sharing with you my contact details so you can reach me out. I also wanted, meanwhile, to share with you what is special today on what I am doing and something that I want to offer to you and to anyone that is watching this webinar, either on Facebook and today. So we have two events coming soon. One is a personal branding workshop that is my 4th edition. I'm going to run it at the end of September. And this is going to be limited to 10 people because I want to do it really personalized and add as much value as I can. So only for the people who are attending the webinar, sorry, I'm doing a 20% discount on the price. So from $100, from $125, it goes to 100. How is this personal branding workshop? It's 2 days. It's online, it's interactive. You are going to have assignments. So you will be working on each of these 5 areas. Plus, I'm going to have 2 people joining the webinar. One is a specialist on video creation. So she's going to give us the tips on how to create videos that we can share on the different platforms. It's been super useful to me. I only bring people to my workshops that I do really know that are fantastic. Otherwise, I wouldn't mix my personal brand with someone that is really not to the level. So she's amazing. And the second one is a presenter, a specialist on communication, is going to help us to how to communicate either on online meetings, on presentations, on webinars. So that's the personal branding workshop. The offer is until the 31st of August. So if you want to get this deal, please send me an email and then I will apply the discount code for you. The second one is I'm running a social media and digital marketing workshop for the small businesses. This is, I forgot, from the personal branding and also for the social media. All the sessions are recorded, all the sessions are sent afterwards. So if you need to review any of the contents, you can come back. For the social media and digital marketing is 4 days. What do we go through these 4 days? We understand how the social media work, how to generate leads. So it's not only theory, you are going to learn how to get leads, how to reach out to people, and the most important, how to get leads while you are doing nothing. Tools to automate your social media so everything can run while you are doing some other things. We are going to go deep on email marketing, setting up a campaign. I'm going to teach you how to set up a Facebook campaign. We are going to talk about the different types of content. I'm going to share with you 4 easy ideas to implement to create content. We are going to talk about PR, which is really important. And this was asked in a previous webinar. How can I use PR to build up on my social media? Influencer marketing. You don't need to have a high budget. This workshop is for individuals or small businesses that want to run their social media with a low budget. And on the last day, as well on the personal branding, on the last day, we are going to create a 3-month plan. So I don't really want to have workshops in which the people have a lot of information, but they don't implement. We are going to create a plan that you can implement from the day after the workshop. Plus, in both cases, you have a one-on-one session with me. Look, only my private coaching one-on-one is already $130. I'm being transparent with the prices, and I can share the links where you can see the prices. So already with either one or the other, you're already having the workshop, plus you're having a one-on-one coaching session with me. So it is really worth. You can see the testimonials as well. And let me go back to someone that was raising their hand. Okay, do you feel that one can truly appreciate and know the value of running your own business only after being employed and working under someone? Okay, let me see if I understand the question. Do you feel that one can truly appreciate, thank you, Isabel, that one can truly appreciate and know the value of running your own business only after being employed and working under someone? Do you mean that the boss can value you, or that you can? I'm a bit confused with the question. Sorry. Would you clarify a bit more? Do you feel that one can truly appreciate and know the value of running your own business only after being employed and working under someone? Let me see if I understood well the question. So in my case, I was working for corporate, and then I became an entrepreneur. And truly, I didn't understand how much effort is behind the company till I was working for myself. Now, I even wonder how the big corporations really make it to make money and to get everything working smooth between all the departments. I mean, does one have to work in a company to have a better understanding of a business? That's not an easy question to reply. What what I can tell you is that my experience in working for some other companies, what did is that it really raised the quality of the work that I deliver. This is my personal case. So I've been working for companies in which it was not only my opinion, but the opinion of my boss. And I had people who challenged me. And I had co-workers that I could learn from. And I had deadlines. And I had suppliers. And I had clients. So working on a company, it allows you to have this big picture. It also depends on the department. I've been always working in marketing, so I always had to deal with purchase department, with sales, with logistics, with finances, and that gave me really a broad perspective of how a company works, as well as having really pressure from everyone, let's say. While if I started having a business when I was in my 20s, I think I would have probably missed that part of knowledge and connections. Does it mean that someone in their 20s cannot be an entrepreneur? No, of course they can. Mm, so if you don't have the knowledge or the experience of going into a company, I would say at least education. But I do really think practicing is the best teacher. Look, I have a degree in business. I have a graduate on design. I am a life coach as well. And at the end of the day, what is giving me the skills is practice, practice, and practice. So it doesn't matter if you go as an intern, if you start a company. First, you will make mistakes either for some others or for yourself. Second, you always will have a learning curve. You will have to keep on updated yourself, taking new courses or learning either by practicing or by taking new lessons. So I don't know if I replied clearly, but this is a hard one to reply because there is not a yes or no. I can talk about my experience. I am really happy that I launched my startup on my 40s already because I had a strong background. It allowed me to reach an investor in an easier way, to make better partnerships, but it doesn't mean that someone cannot start from the bottom. So I hope I replied to your question. Does anyone else have any other question? Something else that usually I get asked. Thank you, Christina. She's asking on Facebook. Something that I get asked is how long does it take to build a personal brand? And I have good news and bad news for you. The bad news is that it takes all our life. So a personal brand is not something that you do today and you are going to forget. Personal brand is something that you do constantly. Is as a close relationship, right? Is like a close friend or a close relative. You keep on having contact. So with your personal brand is exactly the same. You cannot post one day on social media and then disappear. If you want to have a strong personal brand, you need to keep on doing the same. Now, how long does it take to to have a strong personal brand? With the online, obviously the profiles are easier to be built rather than if we were offline. Because offline, as I was sharing at the beginning, we didn't have this reach, as much reach as we had, right? So I would say that a minimum of 2 months, to be realistic, is what you need to keep on building. And also, what are you building? Are you building on a previous experience that you have, or are you building on coming out of the university? But at least 2 months gives a bit of trust and consistency. If someone looks back to your Instagram, if someone looks back to your LinkedIn, they can see that there is a track of content. So I would say, so you are asking where do you get the recorded webinar of this session? I'm going to email it to you all. So you will have the session. Let me remind for the people who were not seeing this before, the two options that you have. Also, if you want to share this with some other people, remember that there is a personal branding workshop coming at the end of September, social media coming at the beginning of September. You have a 20% discount until 31st of August. After that, you would be accessing the normal prices. And remember that for the personal branding, there are only 10 spots. If you were joining from the beginning here, you have all my contact details. You can reach me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, email, or my website. So I'm happy to reply to further questions that you have. Please reach me out sorry, because I'm watching three different screens and it's a bit confusing. Don't hesitate to send me an email if you need anything from me. And I hope you enjoy the webinar, you took something out of it, and I'll be sending this to all of you by email. Thank you, and keep on having visibility online. Wishing you the best of luck. Bye.